Yeah, you're looking at me. All right, welcome back. It's a birthday party at the morning meeting, which of course means we have to know whose birth we're celebrating. You can tell from my little getup that, well, it's a bank-related holiday. It's the birth of a law called Gramm-Leach-Bliley. And that, of course, the act that made it legal for big banks to go gambling with money from you and nice little old grandmas like Mrs. Penny here. It's a prime example of how broken and out of order our financial system is. So to commemorate the measures, the 10th birthday of Gramm-Leach-Bliley today, we're taking a look back at how it all began. You see, from 1933 to 1999, Grandma's Penny's deposits were only allowed to go into safe, highly regulated banks with men dressed in suits keeping track of beans, as it were, custodians of wealth. Would you mind if I was to? I'll take very good care of this, and I'll pay you a fine rate. Thank you. She could feel secure when handing her money over to trusty bankers like myself because she knew that they were not allowed to go do risky things with it. I simply had to keep it in the bank and pay her some interest and maybe lend some of the money out for a home mortgage and lend some money out for a small business. That's because there was a wall between Wall Street investment banks that are out gambling and commercial banks and insurance companies. One bank was not allowed to be all three. So if you were taking Grandma's money, you were in a situation where you had no choice but to either go into the boring business of being a banker or get out of that business and come to Wall Street and get into the big-time business of taking all sorts of wild risks. That was a rule established after the Great Depression, or I should say the crash in '29, which led to the Great Depression, when we found out that Wall Street types were gambling with money that they did not have. So we passed a law and said, if you want to gamble like that, you're going to have money. Well, bad news, Miss Penny. It all changed in 1999. Congress passed Gramm-Leach-Bliley, which basically completely undid that separation between the safe bankers and the Wall Street gamblers. It tore down the walls between banks and insurance companies where you put your life insurance or your hard-earned savings so that the bank could then lend it into the economy for small businesses and homeowners to be able to buy homes and develop small businesses. Now a bank could do all three. Problem is, trusty bankers became, yes, casino operators, because you can make far more money gambling with Mrs. Penny's money. If I could have your money again, please, real quick. No, it's okay, please. You'll make so much more this time. It's going to be outrageous. You just hang. I'll tell you about it in a second. Mrs. Penny's money would come in through the front door. No one would tell her, of course. No, seriously, I'm very trustworthy. Don't misunderstand. If I could just have them. No, please. Grandma, ultimately, even if I have to trick her and mug her, give me the money, Grandma! And I could take it and gamble like a wild man. It was a boon for Wall Street. A casino opened up of a multi-trillion-dollar level. The only task to see who could make the biggest bet with the smallest amount of money so that they could keep the bonus and leave the downside with the taxpayer. And who was responsible for lobbying for the law change but Citigroup, the very company that now owes the taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars and invented the model. A commercial bank merging with an insurance company and owning an investment bank, but it needed to change that Glass-Steagall law that was invented in 1933. To do it, of course, Larry Summers, Bob Rubin, who subsequently, after being the Treasury Secretary, went to Citigroup to pay himself out $100 million from those gamblings. Well, it's so bad that Citigroup was, in fact, allowed to see the bill before it was passed. In other words, the deal was proposed, and then the legislation was drafted. And now, 10 years later, we find ourselves bailing out those very big investment and commercial banking combinations. And what's more outrageous is that the casinos, in many ways, are riskier than ever and now completely populated with Grandma's money. Happy birthday, Gramm-Leach-Bliley. Grandma, hand over the cash. Give me the money. We're back after this.